everyone, I'm Kariva Devine, and welcome to 12 News Weekend. Every week, we take a look back at the best news stories from our 12 News journalists. On today's show, a Valley man at odds with his HOA over a free water station. He says that he's helping the community, but not everyone agrees. And then later, 50 years of love and one unforgettable tradition. An Arizona couple shares their unique ritual that keeps their bond strong. But first, heartbreak at one of the nation's most iconic national parks as wildfires tear through the Grand Canyon. We hear from visitors who are mourning the loss of a beloved and historic landmark.
Smoky skies linger over the Grand Canyon, a solemn sign of a devastating fire burning across the North Rim.
When the smoke cleared, it's just you look where the North Rim Lodge should be, and it was gone.
The Dragon Bravo fire has charred 5,000 acres and destroyed dozens of historical buildings in its volatile path, including the Grand Canyon Lodge.
It's just really devastating.
First built in 1928, the Grand Canyon Lodge sits where the highway ends. It burned down in 1932 and was rebuilt with the same floor plan in 1937.
It's an icon. It's the American icon that draws people to the region.
Since then, this view has been the first stop for most visitors of the North Rim.
Pretty much anyone alive today, if they've been to the North Rim of the canyon, they've experienced going into that lodge, going down the stairs, and like your first view of the canyon is from in the lodge itself.
Now 9 days since lightning ignited the Dragon Bravo fire, flames are being fueled by hot temperatures, low relative humidity, and strong wind gusts. Crews are battling the fire on the ground and by air, but not without challenges. Firefighters were forced to evacuate the area overnight due to a chlorine gas leak at the water treatment facility caused by the fire. It also prompted closures to all Inner Canyon corridor trails and campgrounds.
Only other time I've ever seen them close trails like that was when the whole park closed during, the first months of COVID.
There have been no reported injuries or deaths. All staff and residents were successfully evacuated prior to the fire's escalation.
All of this was done in a coordinated manner. It was done quickly, but it was not rushed.
According to Grand Canyon National Park, at least 50 structures were destroyed in the fire, including administrative buildings and visitor facilities.
It's taking a big chunk of the park and taking it offline for at least a couple of years.
But the hopes to rebuild are already developing.
This is an economic engine for Coconino County and for the state of Arizona, and we want to be able to work in partnership with the National Park Service and with others to get this rebuilt.
And tonight, Governor Katie Hobbs is expressing her gratitude toward firefighters while calling for an investigation into the federal government's emergency response of this fire. She says in part, quote, "They must first take aggressive action to end the wildfire and prevent further damage, but Arizonans deserve answers for how this fire was allowed to decimate the Grand Canyon National Park." And the North Rim will be closed to visitors for the remainder of the 2025 season. Stay with 12 News for updates on this fire and closures at the Grand Canyon. In studio, Gabriela Becerra, 12 News.
Fredonia, Arizona, population 1,300. It's a typical small town with a church, school, and post office. But what it doesn't have is a hospital or ambulance. Thankfully, just 8 miles away, the town of Kanab, Utah does. And for more than 40 years, Kane County paramedics have been more than happy to cross the border to treat and transport Arizona patients.
Relatives, neighbors, coworkers, friends, they're part of the community for us.
Mary Clough's family lives in Fredonia and has relied on Kane County EMS more than once.
Both of my late paternal grandparents, towards the end, they were falling a lot, didn't have the best balance.
The Arizona Department of Health Services told Kane County EMS they were operating illegally. This after the City of Page Fire Department filed a complaint alleging Kane County was coming into their service area without proper state certification. But Page does not service Fredonia, and Kane County says they only go to Page when they're asked.
There is just tons of drama in the EMS world.
According to Kane County EMS and the Fredonia mayor, they've been trying to get Arizona certification, but their applications have been repeatedly delayed or withdrawn. Will Humble, former Arizona Health Services director, says these disputes usually come down to money.
It was about somebody taking somebody else's cheese, taking transports that they think they're entitled to.
Now, Fredonia is caught in the middle. Mayor Don Johnson.
Which was a shock to us. They hadn't called us or notified us in any way. It was just sprung on us.
The Arizona Department of Health Services said Kane County is under investigation for violating licensure rules. Still, rules allow outside agencies to cross the border when requested by law enforcement or during major emergency events. Now, Fredonia residents fear they would have to find their own ride to the hospital or wait 45 minutes for the nearest Arizona ambulance in Colorado City, assuming one is available.
It's a pretty serious deal. It's a life and death deal is what it is.
Not just for residents, Fredonia's volunteer fire department covers 500 square miles, including the highway to the Grand Canyon. Kane County helps tourists as well. It's why Johnson declared a local emergency, allowing Kane County to legally respond again while they work things out with the state of Arizona.
The emergency will be over when we say it's over, and we're not going to settle for anything less.
For now, the emergency declaration keeps ambulances rolling, but residents worry about the future of their fight for basic emergency services.
It's going to take a lawsuit for Arizona to realize what they've done, or it's going to take a death of someone.
Now, Fredonia's mayor says they have looked into starting their own ambulance service, but that would cost an estimated $1.2 million a year, and that is more than the town's annual budget. Kane County is continuing to cross into Arizona to treat Fredonia residents, but for now, they're staying out of the city of Page. We're on the Arizona-Utah state line. Kyle Simchuk, 12 News.
And coming up, I sat down with the Arizona pastor whose call for justice sparked a lifetime of service in Arizona. His reflections on decades of leadership and what's next as he heads into his retirement when we come back.
1998, the year the Valley of the Sun changed forever. America's pastime, rooted into the identity of our Sonoran Desert. 12 News has been there for all of it, telling the Diamondback story, from the All-Stars to the championships to the impact on our community. Now the next chapter awaits.
The Diamondbacks play right here on 12 News.
Catch select games as we continue telling the Diamondback story. 12 News, your new home for D-backs baseball.
You and I need to rejoice in the Lord. Yeah.
What are some of the joys of being a pastor for you?
Loving God's people, being with them in all seasons of their lives, challenges as well as good seasons and times of rejoicing and celebration.
A native of Coffeyville, Kansas, Dr. Warren H. Stewart Sr. started as senior pastor at First Institutional Baptist in Phoenix in July of 1977.
What do you remember about that time?
Well, I was 25 years of age, and it was my first pastorate, so I'd never been a pastor of a church before. So all of this was new. I was a neophyte. I was the new kid on the block, and I had OJT, on-the-job training.
Guided by one of his life's mottos from Proverbs 16:3. Now, almost 50 years later, Stewart leaves behind a legacy as an iconic spiritual leader and a champion for social justice.
We are obviously operating with a different set of principles.
In a historic move in 1989, Stewart led the fight to change legislation in Arizona, making Martin Luther King Jr. a paid holiday.
Even after Ronald Reagan, a very well-known Republican president, signed it into law as a federal holiday, and Arizona refused to do it. I want to go to Jordan.
Stewart has crossed the globe, preaching in 61 countries, expanding numerous ministries, and standing at the forefront of social justice movements in Arizona.
We have fought for immigration reform for years, for adequate and equal public education. The King holiday gets the most publicity, but we have fought for justice.
But some of Stewart's most cherished moments as a faith leader are from visiting the sick.
Going there to stand beside families who are going through very difficult times in their life. Even when people are transitioning, they are leaving this world, to be right there and to be allowed in some of the most intimate moments in people's lives. That is so very meaningful to me.
His decision to retire came during a mission trip to Ghana in November of 2023 with his wife, Karen.
God kind of spoke to me while we were in Africa and said, look, Warren, it's okay. You don't have to prove anything to anybody else. You can prepare to retire. And I came back, I told our leaders, my work is finished.
Oh, I love
And
that.
I said in the most positive, faithful way. You have to know when your work is done. Many people stay too long in different positions, and it leads to the detriment of those that they are leading and to themselves.
While Stewart is looking forward to taking some time to rest, he says he'll continue to mentor the next generation of young faith leaders.
And so my goal is to get the Christian faith back to relationships, not religion.
Are you going to miss it? Because
oh, Lord Jesus. I mean, am I going to miss it? I mean, I try to stop crying every time I think about I'm getting ready to retire. I mean, this church has been my life for almost 50 years. And so this is a very emotional transition for all of us.
And as for what he wants his legacy to be,
I hope people will say that Pastor Stewart loved the people, loved the community, and stood for Jesus and justice. That's all I want.
For the past 5 years,
You want water or ice?
David Martin has had this in his driveway. A cooler filled with chilled water bottles, giving them out to anyone who needs them.
It's really for the drivers, it's for the families, it's for the kids. It's to do something positive in a world that needs it.
A simple gesture, getting him fined $100 a month from his HOA. According to the HOA's management group, advertising free water out in the open goes against the community's rules and regulations.
I stand firm on the fact that I'm not paying the fines, the cooler's not going anywhere.
With many neighbors on his side.
I thought that was kind of ridiculous.
Now he's fighting back. On Thursday, a vote was held to remove 3 board members. Martin started the initiative, and Canyon Trails board member Darren Riley says there were enough signatures gathered to push forward to the vote. While the water bottle debacle sparked this battle, it's not the only issue residents have with their HOA.
Like broken benches, graffiti on occasion. The response time was just taking way too long.
I think it's not having the ability to voice their concerns and have problems fixed.
During the meeting, the 2 board members whose seats are not on the line said they received a total of 210 ballots from homeowners, with the majority in support of the removal, announcing that starting Friday morning, those 3 board members are gone. But this may actually lead to a legal battle. Those 3 board members don't accept the results because they claim Martin didn't actually receive enough signatures. They say on Wednesday they held an emergency meeting to cancel this vote because of the lack of signatures.
But you're saying no, that petition was valid?
I'm saying to my understanding, absolutely.
They also don't accept the results because there wasn't any notice given to the community about this vote, and if those 210 ballots are actually enough for a community that has more than 1,000 homes, calling into question the legality of everything that happened Thursday. A new fight Martin is ready to face.
I know there's going to be a legal battle. We're preparing for it even right now. Do I know what that entails? No. Do I know the cost? No. But we are going to fight, and it's not just about water. It's about the community as a whole.
All anniversaries are special, but this is a milestone, if you will.
It's the time that goes by that it's difficult to comprehend. We came here in '72, we got engaged. That was the first place that we came here.
It's a beautiful story of love, marriage, and sweet memories.
3 years later, we get married, we come here for our honeymoon, and ever since, 50 years.
Trish and Mark Rogers shared with 12 News why celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary at Camelback Inn means so much.
That's our tradition.
It's been really fun to see the changes in the decor.
The longstanding tradition of celebrating here started with their honeymoon 50 years ago.
We sometimes stay here and we get our honeymoon suite.
Mark even proposed to Trish at the same location.
Proposed to me out at the pool, which is now no longer there, and then we just decided to come every year.
Celebrating this year once again, continuing their special tradition.
On our 25th year, we rented a suite, a Jackrabbit, and I think we had 40 or 50 people. And our 40th anniversary, we came back here, and there's a lot of memories here.
Their love story began in 1972 when they met for the first time at Big Surf.
That was sort of my hangout, and Trish was from the west side, and she came out with a girlfriend, and we sort of bumped into each other, and that was it.
The engagement soon followed.
It was a quick engagement.
And a few years later, marriage.
Love at first sight.
Every year they made a point to come here to celebrate. During monsoon storms, extreme heat, even during COVID, they had breakfast on the patio.
So we have a picture of us with our masks on.
And when they lived in New Mexico for 7 years,
We'd either come here a couple days prior or a couple days after.
and now, 50 years later, after traveling to New Zealand, they're back at the same spot that's so significant.
We like tradition.
I know we won't be here 50 years from now, but hopefully we'll still have some more good years.
We'll do it until we're not around, I guess.
While Camelback Inn has changed over the years, the view of Camelback Mountain, and most importantly, their love for each other has remained the same, now 50 years strong.
You got to be friends, obviously, and share the same, goals and whatever you want to do.
Their secret to a long, happy marriage?
Compromise. As long as the man just kind of does what the lady wants, that always helps too.
She says that. She said it for 50 years. It worked, right?
We've been very blessed.
Trisha Hendricks, 12 News.
Google Maps, get lost. We're getting to our destination the OG way. Oh look, we're here. Wide World Maps and More is the only location of its kind in the Southwest, with customers from around the globe.
We've been in business for almost 50 years. We do the whole thing. We do some of the publishing and custom mapping. We have a shop facility that does mounting, laminating, and framing too. People that are traveling anywhere in the world. We have folded maps, like your street maps and state maps, also travel guides, outdoor recreation. We have maps for hunting, fishing, backpacking, off-road, hiking, treasure hunting, gold panning, vintage, rare, and unusual kind of maps. We have in inventory over 20,000 different items, and we have the ability to access many more on a special order or special made.
You have everything you need for your journey.
If you need a hiking stick, we sell those too.
We all use our phones and Google Maps to find where we're going, so people still have a need for these maps that they could put in their hands.
Absolutely. They use them together. It's not that one replaces the other. You don't want to rely on a phone, not only for the reception, because you can download maps, but if you drop your phone.
What do you get from these maps here and the globes that you don't get on Google Maps on your phone?
A bigger picture. You spend all day zooming in and zooming out with your fingers on your phone. You can print out a map or just come into the store and buy one and be able to use it as that visual reference. There's some other things that are vintage or nostalgic. We have Route 66 maps. We have topographic maps that show things that you wouldn't find on Google Maps. It might be an old ghost town or the remnants of a mining camp.
What would you say are some of the most rare or unique maps you have here?
The official territory map of Arizona was done in 1880. We did the reproduction, we did the restoration on it. We have several maps. The flat earth concept is centuries old, and there's a loyal following of people who believe that the world is still flat. This is a globe. It's an antique reproduction. It's made to be more of a decorative item, not so much a reference. It'll hold your wine bottles.
At about 112 degrees longitude and 33.5 degrees latitude, I'm Crystal Long, 12 News.
He's no ordinary online shopper.
Don't just trust what you see.
Abhipad Gaunkar is a consumer advocate and renowned whistleblower.
Where the greed begins.
He exposed bad customer service of Arizona utility APS, leading to a $25 million settlement with the state, and was the sole whistleblower in a Medicaid fraud case that put a surgeon in prison for 6 years, forcing him to return $43 million to the federal government.
Fraud exists at all levels. Sometimes intentional, sometimes unintentional.
Right now, Pad Gaunkar believes he's found a different kind of problem. He was booking a hotel at the Little America in Flagstaff.
This is classic bait and switch.
So you've selected 2 nights at the beginning of August.
Correct.
The Little America website advertises nightly rates at $124 the first night and $195 the second.
Divided by 2, the average should be 159.5.
When you click to proceed and make the reservation,
instead of 159.5, as you can see, it's showing 193.5.
That's a much higher average.
That higher amount still does not take into account what will be additional taxes and fees.
It says $14.12 additional taxes and fees per night.
The 2-night total should be $28.
I go to checkout, instead of being $28 and change, has become $44.
So even the tax is suddenly higher.
Correct, right.
We randomly sampled 6 hotels affiliated with Little America in 4 states. 13 of the 20 nights had higher totals than advertised with no explanation. The biggest discrepancies, Little America Flagstaff had hidden costs as much as $30 per night. San Diego, as much as $19 per night.
It's like there's one price for the item on the shelf, but when you go to checkout, the register charges a different price.
Bait and switch tactics are not new to the FTC. In May, the agency put into effect a new rule against unfair or deceptive fees, requiring hotels to tell consumers the whole truth up front about total prices and fees. According to Forbes magazine, Little America is headquartered in Salt Lake and owned by one of the richest families in America.
The concern is, $30 more, $60 more, $100 more per booking, and millions of bookings. That could be an enormous amount of overcharge.
Thanks everyone for watching, and a reminder, new episodes of 12 News Weekend premiere every Friday on 12+. You can also watch some of our past episodes on the app. All you have to do is download 12+ on your Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku, and you can watch for free. I'm Kariba Devine. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend.